What it do, Level Up family? How y'all doing today? Today's video is gonna be about just a little discussion of how this pandemic, the coronavirus, have affected your life. But before we can get into this video, I need y'all to smash that like button. And if you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Also, please hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, I need you to ring that bell so that you can be notified every time a new video is uploaded. All right, now let's get into this video. Like I said, this video is going to be about how the pandemic, the coronavirus, have affected you. But I'm going to start off telling you guys how it affected me. I was at work and it was about halfway through our shift, around maybe 12 noon, 12:30, something. We got called into the office because I was just a jockey. So I was just moving trailers, or my job was to move trailers around the yard. I would move a trailer on the door. Once they loaded or they emptied it, unloaded it, I would take it off and then give them another trailer. So that's what my job was consisted as at around the time of the pandemic when it first hit. So they caught us all and they was like, yeah, we shutting down for the day. It's like, okay, what's going on? And then that's when they start to tell us, well, they shutting the world down. So I'm like, okay, well, what is that going to do about for work and everything? So a couple people were allowed to still continue to keep running because one of the contracts we had was a BJ's. So out of all of that, everything else was like clothing stores and just other stuff that they just didn't accept for us to stay open on. So whoever were there the longest at the job, meaning I was only there for, at that time, I want to say, I don't even know if I hit my year mark. It might be somewhere around that year mark. So I was one of the ones that was selected that had to go home. And I asked about unemployment, and they said that, yeah, you'll get the unemployment, but I was home for about 3 months, 3 to 4 months, somewhere around there. I was home, and I was filing my unemployment. You gotta file weekly, like every Sunday. You gotta file weekly with your unemployment, and I was doing that, but I never received any of the money. The money never came for my unemployment until I went back to work. That was the crazy part. So now that I'm back working, which was, I think we stopped like March, and I think I went back like close to the end of June, I think it was. Went back, and now I'm starting to make money, and I also noticed that it's new faces here. A lot of the same people that were there are not there no more. And I never really understood how bad, the pandemic really affected everybody. But unfortunately, I was able to receive the unemployment. I was one of the ones that was able to receive the unemployment. The unemployment didn't kick in. Well, I got the back pay when I went back to work. And at that point in time, it just opened my eyes up, because I realized that some people, when they were making cuts for who could stay at work and who had to go home, it was also another cut that I found out about once I came back to work, that they were firing people because they didn't want to pay them unemployment. So the people that they didn't want no longer, they just let them go. And unfortunately, I was one of the ones that I was sent home, but I was able to collect unemployment. But I started thinking of, the ones that just were let go. So once you were let go, it was kind of hard. You could try to fight for unemployment, but I'm sure it was probably a little hard at that particular time to get the unemployment. So it's like, now you got to try to find another way to get money to pay for your bills and to take care, your families and stuff. So I just wanted to have just to make a video, on how the coronavirus have affected people, because unfortunately I wasn't one of the ones that was affected too bad by the virus. A lot of the bills that I had, the companies, they understood that everybody was going through a problem, so they just pushed all the bills back. So everything was just pushed back, pushed back about 2-3 months. So it didn't have to worry about paying stuff right away. But the back of my head, you gonna have to pay this stuff. Again, they gonna want that money. As soon as that world open back up, they hitting y'all in y'all head. They want this money. But what I've learned from the pandemic is you cannot depend on one income. You cannot depend on one income. You have to have multiple streams of income. And when you're looking at those type of incomes that you want to jump into, try to look at stuff that you know that the world cannot go without. Now what I mean by that is, okay, you can get into flipping houses. Houses is something that people always need. Just look at the day-to-day stuff that you need every day. You feel me? So like, you need somewhere to live every day. You always gonna need a car to drive. This is stuff that you can do. You can jump into be an entrepreneur at this point. At that particular time, the market was down because the world was shut down. So all of these big time companies that was just so used to having a lot of business coming through and people buying stuff, they were the main ones that were really suffering. Now these are the times where entrepreneurs succeed. Now I know some people may think it's messed up, but hey, that's just how the game is. When one big company is going down, that helps a small company comes up. Just like Hertz, their company was going down because they was a big rental car company. The world was shut down, nobody was renting cars. So they had all these cars on the lot that, they was paying for, but they wasn't renting out. So they had to make some type of income, so they just started selling cars. So if you're a type of person that, you flip cars or something like that, hey, that was your time to shine. That was your time to shine at that point. You would go to Hertz. They was selling cars that was probably like $10,000 to $15,000 below the price of what they normal price of what they would sell the cars for. So at that one particular time, a big company is struggling, going through the pandemic, but that allowed a smaller company to come up and rise and benefit off of it. Just the same as the marketing for the houses, a lot of people wasn't buying, so people were being stuck on houses. The banks was just stuck sitting on money. The bank makes money by them giving out loans, and then you paying back, and they making the money off the interest rates. But if the world shut down, nobody's getting loans, the bank is hurting. So now at this point, you go to the bank, you get that loan. Whatever it is that you want to start, whatever business that it was, you go get that loan, you use the bank money, and you go ahead and start your, your business or whatever it was that you wanted to do. Now, I understand that not everybody was fortunate to do these type of things. So that's why I'm making this video. You can comment down below. I just want to hear some people's stories. Just want to see how the virus, the pandemic has affected your life. Like I said, I wasn't one of the ones that was really too much affected. I was affected enough for it. I was definitely affected enough for it, but I was able to bounce back from it. And by this pandemic, it opened up my eyes to see that, okay, this job that I'm working for clearly does not care about me. So that was my opportunity. So when I came back to work, I made my 6 months goal to, I'm buying my own truck. Because it's no reason that I can't do for myself what I'm doing for this company now. So the pandemic helped me to start my trucking business. So I'm just making this video just because I want to, see how other people reacted, and how other people bounce back from the virus, and just see how much this virus affected you. But I want to leave you guys on a note that yes, I understand this happened. A lot of families was hurting and struggling and all of this, but the main thing that everybody should have got out of this pandemic is that you cannot depend on one income. Don't do it. You can't depend on one income, because if this world was to shut down again, they always talk about a second shutdown, just because the numbers keep spiking up and down, which I don't think they would do it, just because they lost out on a lot of money. The stimulus checks, they had to keep paying people. They don't like that. They don't like doing that type of stuff. They don't like, because now they give out free money. Now they got to raise taxes and stuff. Now this normal stuff that we buy is sky high now. So I honestly don't think they will probably ever shut us down again. I mean, unless something bad happens again. But that's just my opinion. I'm just the average guy, so don't quote me on that. I'm no genius or nothing like that. I'm just thinking about just off of my parts, and how I feel about it, how I see the world for. But the virus, the pandemic, yes, it affected a lot, but it should have motivated a lot of people more to just, okay, I gotta find something else that I can do also. Jump into that entrepreneur mindset. Do it. It's never too late. Whatever you good at, you could be good at doing nails. You could be, for females, you could be good at doing nails. You could be good at doing hair. You could be good at babysitting. That's another big thing right there. The world will always need childcare. It's always going to be people that want their car clean. It's always going to be people that needs that carpet clean. It's always going to be people who needs their house clean. It's so many businesses out here that you can start on your own. You do not have to just sit and just worry about one income. No. Do not sell yourself short. Do not sit back and just think about one income. Push yourself. Like I said, this pandemic, I know it affected a lot of people, but at the same time, to me, I feel like the pandemic should have motivated a lot of people too, also. So don't depend on that one job, because anything could happen. That one job could just shut down, fold, or sad to say, they could just let you go with no reason. Maryland has a law that they can just fire at will, and they don't have to tell you. Oh, they could be like, oh, we just going in a different direction, so we decided to just let you go, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's the law in the state of Maryland. So just don't depend on just one income. Always make sure that you're covered. Always make sure. And everybody in this world, I don't care who you are, everybody in this world has a skill that you're strong at. You just got to find that skill that you're strong at, and you got to stick with it, and just be motivated, and don't be scared to take risks. If you don't take a risk, you are never going to be successful in life. I don't think there's not one successful person in this world that never took a risk in their life. You got to take a risk. You got to do something that you're not comfortable with doing, so that you can better yourself. But that's all this video was about. Like I said, you can leave comments down below. I want to see how this pandemic has affected you. And if you know anybody that can relate to this video, please don't hesitate to send it to them. And if you haven't already, and you're still here at the end at this video, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, once again, welcome to the channel. Please ring that bell so that you can be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And y'all stay safe out there, and I catch y'all at the next video.